From fungus that's bleeding to seeds that look like human skulls, here are 12 creepy things that look like human body parts. Number 12. Radish foot. You're going to see a lot of food on this list, but with this one, I'm putting my foot down, metaphorically speaking. This radish is not only huge, but it looks like it has 5 toes. This would make the rest of its body the foot. Now, there's likely a very reasonable explanation for how it grew such appendages. However, you can't deny that it looks creepy. I mean, imagine you're a farmer and you pull this out of the ground and you see the toes. How would you react? This thing is weird. But then again, I have a low threshold for scary things. Can I also note that the radish has a very, very big toe? Am I the only one to notice that? Anyone? Number 11. Bleeding Tooth Fungus. Speaking of creepy things, let's talk dentistry. Any dentist will tell you that bleeding from your teeth and gums is a bad thing. And so if you were to find a bloody tooth in the woods, you might think that someone is nearby and hurt. Instead, though, you might have just found Hydnellum pecki, also known as the bleeding tooth fungus. Now, on its own, this fungus doesn't naturally bleed, and in fact, this only occurs when the fungi is young. Inside of this fungi is a sap that is red. It's forced out when moisture from the air gets into the fungi in such a way that it's forced to expel the sap. The sap itself comes out of the hood, which is white and can sometimes look like a tooth. Add that to the sap and you get a bleeding tooth. In case you're curious, no, the fungi isn't poisonous, and neither is the sap, but you shouldn't eat it anyway. It's known to be very bitter. What's more, the plant can also absorb cesium-137, which can be lethal if you get enough of it in your system. So better to be safe than sorry, and don't touch this thing. Number 10. Sad carrot. As I showed you with the radish, vegetables can grow into some very interesting shapes, including some you have to wonder if it's fake or not. Take a look at this carrot, for instance. The thing grew in such a way that it looks like it's holding its knees because it's sad and lonely. That's a very specific position, and it looks really weird and a little creepy. I mean, it makes you wonder if this carrot really does have feelings, doesn't it? How did it get into this shape? It's not really clear. What's also unclear is why that other carrot in the photo on the right seems to be plotting something. I don't trust it. Carrots have also been found in the form of a mother and child hugging. It's very cute and a little eerie, don't you think? Carrots seem to love looking like other things. There have also been carrots that look like feet and resemble Adam and Eve. It's a pretty fun vegetable. Need I say more? Number 9. Doll's eyes. The previous fungi entry was creepy, but not poisonous. The same cannot be said for Actia pachypoda. This fungi is extremely poisonous, and just as important, it's really freaking creepy. I mean, just look at it. It looks like a bunch of eyes were stuck on the end of a Connex tower or some other build-it-yourself contraption, but that's how it naturally grows, which to me makes it even scarier. Now, as for how Actia pachypoda will kill you, it's actually really subtle. The toxin itself will go right to your heart and make it stop beating. This will cause either cardiac arrest or a heart attack, either of which can be fatal depending on where you are when you eat the eyes. What's that? That's not scary enough for you? Okay, well, the parts I've been talking about are just the parts that look like eyes. Every other part of the plant or fungi is also incredibly dangerous. The stalk, the roots, the leaves, anything that is attached to this thing can cause serious harm to people, from skin blisters to inflammation, all of it. Do not touch or eat this thing. You've been warned. Number 8. Face the eggplant. Humans have very weird hobbies, and by and large, one of the most popular ones is seeing faces in fruits, vegetables, potato chips, any food really. In fact, it's a common pastime to try and sculpt faces into potatoes. It's weird, but topping that is an eggplant who already has a face, as you can see here. Yeah, unlike the other things I've shown you so far, this one goes full stop to ensure it has the body part it's impersonating down pat. It has eyes, a big nose, a mouth, and even a hat if you want to include the top part. Of course, someone placed perfect indentations here to give it even more personality. But come on, it actually looks like it has an expression. And now for number 7, but first, let us know what weird things you found that look like other things. And be sure to subscribe if you're new here. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Number 7, Girdled Dapperling. From eggplants to mushrooms, we've got an interesting one here in the form of the Girdled Dapperling. I'm pretty sure you can tell what these look like, so I'm just going to say it looks like parts of a human chest. What makes the Girdled Dapperling so creepy are a couple of things. First, the white parts of its caps actually do resemble human skin in both color and texture to a certain extent. Also weird is that while this looks like a chest, it's incredibly poisonous, much like many mushrooms on Earth. As such, you really need to avoid it. But what's sad is that it has another name in the form of the parasol mushroom, which is bad because there is a very rare and healthy plant that's also called that, and it gets people confused, which can lead to accidental death. So again, be careful. Number 6. Screaming peppers. This particular picture speaks for itself. Or should I say it literally screams for itself. I mean, this is the inside of a pepper, and it looks like it's screaming in horror over what's happened to it. This will give you nightmares next time you're slicing your veggies in half. What's worse, the one on the left actually seems like it's enjoying the situation, while the one on the right just watches in horror as things go from bad to worse. Food should not be allowed to be screaming at you, especially if it's not a live animal. Maybe plants do have feelings. Number 5. Hot lips. While this may sound sexy, hot lips aren't something that you'd expect to see on a tree. Yet for the Psychotria elata, that's exactly what happens in a manner of speaking. This is a tree that lives in Central and South America in certain tropical rainforests. During the period of December through March, red bracts, or modified leaves, emerge on the tree, and they actually look like lips, complete with lipstick. Hence why they are also called Mick Jagger's lips. If you're curious as to why they look this way, they use the shape and bright red color to help lure hummingbirds and butterflies for pollination. Interestingly enough, within the bracts themselves are star-shaped flowers and later on berries, and the lips will open up as they mature. Sadly, the hot lips plants are almost extinct. Number 4. False morels. Don't be alarmed, these are not actual brains, though they could be useful if the zombie apocalypse ever does come. Focusing on what's real, false morels are actually one of the most dangerous mushrooms in the world, especially because the real morels are both valuable and tasty, while these false ones are very, very deadly. In fact, 20% of all mushroom deaths come from false morels because they are confused with the real ones. Why the confusion? Because people often see dollar signs instead of the subtle signs of what the mushroom is and isn't. A real morel can go for $20 a pound. Now, to be fair to the false morels, these mushrooms aren't all extremely toxic. There are even some that can be eaten safely after certain processing, but not sure if you want to risk it. The toxin within them never truly goes away, so it can be very dangerous to women who are pregnant. Going back to the looks though, it's kind of creepy how much it looks like a brain. And when you cut one open, it looks nice and meaty. Like I said, creepy. And also, like I said, could be useful in the zombie apocalypse. Number 3. Devil's Fingers Mushroom. One more mushroom for the list, and this one is definitely the creepiest of the bunch, because the Devil's Fingers mushroom honestly does look like a hand. A dead one, mind you. When it begins its life in a bulb, it slowly breaks out of it, and when it does, it begins to extend and grow, resembling a skeleton hand. It can grow anywhere from 4 to 8 of its fingers, and when it's fully grown, it gets suction cup parts on it that can emit a smell so rancid it attracts flies, on purpose. It grows pretty big too, and can truly resemble a hand to the extent you might be tempted to pick it up. Here's some advice: don't. Number 2. Wood ears. I've already told you about a tree that has lips, but how about a tree that has ears? Well, that's what Auricularia auricula are. They're a type of fungus that lives on dying or rotting trees, and they resemble ears in many ways. They even feel a little rubbery, like cartilage. If used right, they can be used to lower a person's cholesterol and also helps with blood coagulation. This might explain why it's a big hit in Japan and China, which actually have a very low number of people with heart disease. And the Chinese use it for more than just that. They really love these ears. Number 1. Snapdragon Seed Pod. Snapdragons are known for being very deadly plants, which I actually didn't know as a kid. I loved squeezing the sides of the flowers to make them talk to each other. Because of the shape of their flower, they kind of resemble a dragon face. The snapdragon is associated with many mysteries and legends, including being used in spells and witchcraft. It was even used to make yourself beautiful and irresistible. Which was a lie, no doubt, because the snapdragon may be beautiful, but every single aspect of it is highly poisonous, and I haven't even gotten to the other scary parts about it. Its seed pods. When the flower dies, it drops its seed pods and the pods begin to age until one day the seeds burst out of the pods like a cannon. And when they do, they look like human skulls. Lovely. Thanks for watching! Which one was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!